Hello again everyone. Well, it's been a few days since our last video, but there's been so much to see and do here in Dubrovnik's Old Town that it's taken a little while for us to edit all the footage. From this drone footage of the western part of the city walls, you can see the main entrance to Old Town. This is the often busy Ploče Gate entrance, which in the 15th century used to have a wooden drawbridge, which was pulled up at night to prevent those malicious intruders from entering the medieval walled city. Today, a beautiful stone bridge leads across the old moat. Right above the entrance of the Ploče Gate is embellished with the statue of Saint Blaise, the patron saint of Dubrovnik, which is holding the city in his left hand. Just down the ramp is a small door leading through the base of the outer wall to what was once a deep moat that ran around the entire city wall. Today it's filled in, and in this western section you can find a nice playground for the kids and a fountain. After you enter through the gate to the Old Town, it's just a few short steps to Stradun, the town's main promenade. Just as you walk in, you can see big Onofrio's fountain in the middle of the small square. It's a 16-sided cistern, say that 3 times fast. Water pours out of these mouths of the 16 stone mask faces. They're called mascarons. During the day you can see people drinking and filling water bottles from the taps. We even saw some older guy kind of taking a mini shower washing his head, which was kind of funny. Here you can catch a quick glimpse of the Church of Saint Saviour, which was built following an earthquake in 1520. This church has survived several disasters and wars with only minor damage, and is the only church within the walled city in its original form. The Franciscan Monastery, just inside the walls near the Ploče Gate, was built in 1317. Still operating on the monastery's premises is a pharmacy, founded at the same time as the monastery in 1317, making it one of the oldest in Europe. Stradun is the main street of Dubrovnik. This pretty limestone paved pedestrian street runs some 300 meters through the old town, and its beautiful polished look comes from the constant flow of tourists and locals that walk it daily. St. Blaise Church, which is named after Blaise of Sebastia, the city's patron, who warned the Dubrovnik Senate of the Venetians' intention to conquer it in 972 AD. With only a month's notice, the residents began building the wall that surrounds the city. The final version we see today was constructed over several centuries. Located on Luja Square at the end of the stratum, the bell tower is 31 meters high and was originally constructed in 1444. It rings on the hour and the half hour. Just down the street from the bell tower is the City Hall building, which was erected in 1882. Today it is the administrative center of Dubrovnik. Above this doorway is an inscription, which has been preserved undamaged to the present day. Translated, it reads, "Forget private affairs, deal with state affairs." Here we have the Roman Catholic Cathedral of the Assumption of the Virgin Mary, the seat of the Catholic Diocese of Dubrovnik. The money to build the basilica was partially contributed by the English King Richard the Lionheart, as a vow for having survived a shipwreck near the island of Lokrum in 1192 on his return from the Third Crusade. We were unable to film inside the cathedral's treasury, but it contains over 180 relics dating from the 11th to 18th centuries. According to our tour guide, its most famous relic is a portion of the True Cross. Right behind Dubrovnik's cathedral is Gundulić Square, a busy square bordered by elegant buildings, numerous shops, and restaurants. It's also the home of the popular morning fruit and vegetable market, where we picked up some delicious homemade candied orange peels and almonds. As you walk through Gundulić Square, you will enter into Jezuite Street. These steps will also look familiar to Game of Thrones fans as the most iconic scene in Season 5's Walk of Shame, in which Cersei Lannister is forced to begin her long walk of atonement naked through the streets of King's Landing. Located at the top of the steps, you'll find the Church of St. Ignatius and Dubrovnik's reputable Jesuit college. By chance wandering through the southern streets, we found a small door leading outside the southern city wall to a seaside swimming area. It was pretty cool, and we almost missed it. Here you can have a cool beverage and look out over the beautiful Adriatic with Lokrum Island off in the distance. Be sure to check out our other video covering that day trip from Dubrovnik. One of the key forts in the Dubrovnik city wall's defense complex is the Fortress of St. John. It is a complex monumental fortress located on the southeastern side of the old city, controlling and protecting the entrance of the port. The fort was built as an upgrade of the port defense system. The side facing the sea is round and the lower part of the wall is inclined, while the part facing the port has flat vertical walls. The main entrance to Old Town from the eastern side is the Ploče Gate. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. It was built at the end of the 14th century and consists of an inner and outer section which incorporates a stone bridge. The beautiful bridge with stone balustrade leads through the gate to Luja Square and Stradun. The Revelin fortress is built into the outer section of the gate as a handy lookout point for the town's eastern approach. The Dominican Monastery is located at the eastern part of the city, close to the inner Ploče Gate, where it merges with the city walls. The monastery is one of the most important architectural parts of the city, and a major treasury of cultural and art heritage in Dubrovnik, as the museum of the monastery exhibits many paintings, artifacts, jewelry, and other items from its rich history. After Cersei Lannister descends the staircase to begin her Walk of Atonement, St. Dominic Street is used in the filming to capture the main stretch where she is heckled by the crowds of King's Landing. St. Dominic Street was also featured in the scene where Bronn and Tyrion witnessed a protest speech in Season 2. We mentioned the bell tower rings on the hour and half hour, but we noticed at random times of the day, the bells would start ringing throughout the city. They didn't seem to be any consistent time, sometimes in the morning and other times in the evening. These bells were announcing to the community that the churches were ready for prayers or service. With 80 churches within 8 square miles, these bells can be heard throughout the community. Since there was so much to see in Dubrovnik Old Town, we decided to break up this story into multiple videos. Next, we'll take a look at the city wall tour and some of the great food that we experienced while here.